So once we've dragged and dropped some items into our script builder over here, we can click on an item and it will open up script item details for that particular script item. So this is the page that appears when you click on one of the script items, and it's where you will set many things in motion for each item in the script. So there are several actions for this page. The first one is create task. You choose yes if something needs to be done regarding this script item. For instance, it could be a piece of music that needs to have an arrangement for the band created, or it could be a description of a visual setting that needs some elements bought or created. If you choose yes, then another window will open for the task details once you've hit the Save Script item. But for now, I'm going to click no. This is just a heading, the script item, and so I don't have a task to create there. Script category. If you placed this item in one of the 4 sections and then change your mind later on, you could come here and choose a different section, and the script item will move to that section upon clicking Save Script Item. We're going to keep Music for Gathering in the We Gather section because that's what makes sense. All right, so display on guide, yes or no. Only items that say yes will show up on your worship guide when you generate that guide. So this is a heading. We definitely want that on our guide, so we're going to leave that yes, but we could click no if it was, say, a rubric, an explanation, or something that we didn't want to be in the people's copy of the guide. All right, worship note. The script and worship guide will have all citations and permissions and license information printed at the bottom if you insert those items here. So if this is a song title, you type something like the title of the song, let's say, and words and music by so-and-so, and would be copyright, whatever year, the publisher or the composer, whatever the citation is, and then you would put your license number here that gives you permission to reprint that. Okay, I'm just making one up here. All right, so that's important to do if you've got things that you need permission for. And that will show up in both the script and the guide. So, script item content, whatever you put in this box is what will show up on the script. It will be anything from a one-word heading or a few words heading, like this is, to the words to a song or a rubric, which is a description of an action or visual or media note. And you have the ability to format the information in the ways that you see here in the toolbar. So some of the things I usually do would be to italicize rubrics or make them a different color. You may want to bold something, like I like to bold headings like this. I also like to bold anything that the congregation sings. So if our Music for Gathering is a gathering chant, I would, I have it on red right now, I would type in my chant. I won't type in all of it, but then I would, I would make this blue, because I usually like to make everything that needs to be put on the screen in blue, so that when I print out the guide, or print out the script, excuse me, and give it to the people who are making the slides for the presentation software for the screens, they'll know exactly what they need to have on the screen. So if they see everything in blue that they're supposed to make, then that helps. But I would make this bold and not italic, actually. So you'll find your own system for that. But this is where you input everything that you want in the script for this script item. Now, mark as a thread item. You could choose yes if you want this script item repeated in every service. It may have already been marked a thread item, and if it was, you could change it back to not a thread item. Now, the interesting thing about this is that if something is a thread item already, it probably means that you made it a thread item in the frame resource gathering. It's at this point that you could tweak things Sunday to Sunday. So they're still showing up in every service, but then you could come in here and let's say our music for gathering is a different song on the second Sunday. I could do that in the second Sunday script and then tell it no so that that different song wouldn't be in every script. And so then when you're finished with these, you say save script item, and that takes you back to the script itself, and you can see where that's been put there. You can always click on that again and edit anytime that you want to. So you can see that I have for years have been doing my scripts in Center Justify because I like for people to have room on the sides to make their own notes during the cue to cue rehearsal. So I put it Center Justify. So here I'm going to do that same thing with this script item, announcements, and it's a header, so I like to make it bold. I like to put it in the center, and then I would save that so that it would be in the format that I wanted. Now let me show you, so here's a rubric, lights lower and spots on the corner vases, spotlights I should say, on the corner vases with bare branches come up. So this is going to happen as part of the sequence at the beginning of the service, what I call the threshold moment each time. So that is a thread item. I probably would make a task out of this because it requires some spotlights that we might not have, and it requires some corner vases and some bare branches, and it requires some coordination of timing. So we're going to pay close attention to that in the cue to cue rehearsal. But we also have some things to do, so I'd probably create a task out of that. Let's look at some other things. Let's drag and drop a couple of other things. So our lights are coming up, and the theme song, I believe, begins. Now you'll see that it changes from what was the name of this brainstorm note into the content, showing the content. Well, this was just from the brainstorm note, telling the rest of the team that this anthem by Mark Miller is our point of inspiration for the series, but that's not really what I want in the script, so I'm going to go in there and change that. And I want it to, it's called I Believe, and I think Song of Opening to God. I always like to come up with good titles that's not just song or hymn or introit. This gives people a little sense of what the purpose is. So again, I'm going to do that, and then this would be the place where I would make a worship note. Actually, words aren't. Words are a Jewish poet. Music by Mark A. Miller. And I would put all the copyright information. I think it's Choristers Guild. And R1 license number. Because what I'm going to do is, part of what I want to happen is that there's going to be a soloist, but the congregation is going to come in. Okay, so I'm going to make all of this bold, because the congregation will know that. And then I'm going to put a little rubric in here for the congregation that says, congregation joins choir at the direction of the leader. Okay, so we don't have to be too specific. It just means that they're going to be brought in, but it's good to know that. So the last two things I'll do here is that I do want this to be on the guide, so I'm going to change this to a yes, and I'll mark it as a thread item, because here's what I'm going to do. That will show up just like this in each one of the 4 services, and I will just click on it and open it up in a screen like this, and then make the adjustments, because each week it changes. The next week it's I believe in love, even when I don't feel it. But that's a small enough change that it behooves me to go ahead and put that in everything, so I don't have to redo all of that. Okay, so I save the script item, and there it is. So those are the basic functions of the edit script items. Just know that you can always go in and change anything. You know, I've got a funky font here. I could go in and I could change that font just by clicking in that box, saying all, and then going over to the font. Oftentimes, if you have copied and pasted from another document, you'll get the font that was in the document and it's not matching the rest of your fonts. Arial is our go-to font, our default font. So, you know, or you could change all of it to Times New Roman or anything. Just depends on what you want to do.